wait. I'll introduce you to them. I've got to give them your interesting fact. Scott Hewitt used to conduct a laptop orchestra. Yeah, I think that's what the presentation's about. Oh, damn, we'll have to wait for that one. Have you presented before, Scott?
No.
It's the first time. Great. We've got so many first-timers. So, what do we do when it's our first timer? We show them lots of love!
Ready? Yeah. Go. Hello, I'm Scott. I'm going to talk to you about something I'm not really qualified in any way to talk about. But the reason why you probably see this sometimes in your life, but not when you're going on holiday, which is when I normally see this sort of clock time. It's the thing that we all probably do. It causes us to be perhaps in our cars early in the morning or very late at night, heading to places we don't really want to go, getting frustrated in queues. This used to really, really anger me actually, so I kind of made a big step in my life and ditched my car completely, and I ride a bike everywhere now, which I can't recommend to you highly enough. It's incredible what you can do with a bike and how much weight you can get on a bike. Here's me heading off to a barbecue with a cool box full of beer, which is very easy to do on a bike and pleasurable. I do live in Manchester, which is completely flat now. But this guy, this is about what I'm talking about, and it's going to work, this idea of work. Now this guy probably, I think he has a cool job, because apparently it involves driving missiles around the moon. I'm sure there's other aspects of this job that are not as awesome, but I thought this was a great moment here. This gentleman has a job as well. He looks very respectable, and he's the punchline to what I'm going to talk about. You may know who he is, in which case don't say anything. I'm not going to mention his name. But nonetheless, he is a successful person who works, and I think that's, something we're all told we're meant to be, perhaps. We go to work for many reasons. Some people like to go to work to build cities and roads, and perhaps farm those fields and protect their citizens from dragons. That's great. I like to do those things in the concept of a game, but I suspect I'm good at this game. I'd probably be good in real life. But most of us probably go to work so we can have something like this, a door with a number on it, and that's somewhere we can live. And that's probably a good idea. We probably all need somewhere to go to live. But it's maybe a shame that that's dependent on us actually going to work. If we don't go to work, what happens? Well, like my cat Leonard, you would probably have to become accustomed to living out of bags. He thinks that's awesome, but I suspect most of us would prefer something more concrete than a camera bag that's sat on the floor and kind of poking our head out of it. So, why else would we go to work? Well, my wife Susanna here is settling down to what you could believe is a giant selection of McDonald's. Obviously, I'm about to have half of it. But we also go to work to have food, because if we don't do that, then we're going to starve and die. So you're probably picking up, we go to work to meet these very material needs. Other material needs we probably meet at work, things like water. We go to work so we can buy water. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it momentarily. We buy it out of bottles, and we need it, but we still buy water. And it kind of drives really weird ideas. This gentleman, again, I won't say his name, but he thinks the idea that having water as a human right is extreme. He thinks it should be treated as a commodity. He works for Nestle as a CEO. It's incredible, like, how do you get to that point where you think that'd be a good idea? Of course, our government runs a different line at the moment. Some people go to work, apparently, or don't go to work because they spend their money on Sky TV and things like this. Here's my other cat, Sheldon, watching Sheldon on TV. You know what I mean? I don't think that's really the case. Of course, we're told that everybody goes to work to spend their money on booze as well. That's perhaps sometimes true, but I suspect not really the case. That's a classic real ale there, obviously. Prizes for guessing what it is, perhaps? Fair enough. But there we go. But these people who were kind of vilified at the moment, they all do this while earning the minimum wage. And if you've ever attempted to live on the minimum wage, it's not a lot of fun. And you've probably not successfully tried it. If you've tried to do it as an experiment, you probably didn't do it right, because you probably started with somewhere to live and your bills paid. So you end up getting the minimum wage, and then you end up having to go to things like food banks as well. Or banks, and kind of start begging for loans and money and things like this. And it all becomes a little bit weird. And we've got to this point, I think, where a lot of people's experience is that they go to a job that they have to do to get money that's not very useful, that they can't actually do everything they need to do with it. And then, as The Guardian reported a couple of weeks ago, the government comes out with classic things like, if you don't have enough money to do things you need to do, then you're probably not working hard enough, even if you are doing a minimum wage job for the maximum number of hours you're legally allowed to do, which was actually said. And I think that is completely crazy. So you're probably expecting some sort of rant here to follow, which is true, it could well be, about how we should all be paid more and all these things. But I think that's actually a misservice to the problem we're facing. And it's not a problem directly associated to wages. Let me give you an illustration. I got home from work one day to my answer phone, it's got 10 messages on it. Who are those messages from? They're from people trying to sell me things. You know what was great? I wasn't at home, so they didn't interrupt my day. But I'd really rather they didn't go to work and didn't phone me. That would be much better, and then never to go to work and never phone me. I hate shopping. I just can't stand it. It's like, for me, it's a mission, fast as possible, straight out. The checkout people annoy me. Why? Because I just want to get my trolley and push it out the door. I don't want to have to load it up in a thing, wait for them to scan it and do that stuff. And this guy, what does he do? Well, he goes to work to make missiles and bombs and explosives and provide munitions to people. So I don't think he should go to work either. And I think that's the point where I'd like to just leave you hanging there, is to just say, maybe the problem is that we shouldn't all go to work anymore.